Everyone knows that Trump loves tariffs and trade wars, but no group of countries has flared his anger quite like the BRICS nations, which include China, Russia, India, just to name a few economic giants. Tariffs are Trump's favorite weapon against BRICS, but their erratic rollout has caused chaos, confusing allies, shaking markets, and leaving everyone in the dark. For economists, for you, for me, it's been impossible to keep up with the unpredictable Trump. But one thing remains clear. No matter how this all ends, Trump is slowly but surely losing his grip. Instead of using diplomacy, he resorts to bullying and needless aggression. Trump and his ministers are seemingly stuck in the 90s. They think the US is still the unchallenged king of the world. While the US remains the world's largest economy, its days are numbered. Trump has threatened 50%, 100%, and even a mind-blowing 150% tariff on BRICS nations in the past. Trump sees BRICS as a major threat to the USA's global domination and particularly to the US dollar's status as the world's currency reserve. However, Trump should tread carefully. His insistence on tariffs have already caused a major stock market crash and may even cause a recession. Despite the threats and hostility, BRICS continues to grow even larger. It now encompasses 10 member states and 10 partner countries, making up 55% of the world's population and 45% of the world's total GDP. As the USA is slowly losing its power and influence, BRICS intends to fill the void. Trump's plan of intimidating BRICS is failing miserably. It is only making the bloc stronger. The stage is being set for a high-stakes economic and geopolitical clash between the global West and the rest of the world. It's starting to look like Trump doesn't want to make America great again. He's out to annihilate the country with his dense ways. Meanwhile, BRICS leaders are flying all around the world, shoring up alliances and securing new trade deals. Established in 2009 by China, India, Russia, and Brazil, BRICS was formed as a counterweight against US global influence. The group prioritizes reducing its reliance on the almighty US dollar and creating an alternative, more equal global finance system. During the recent 2025 BRICS summit held in Brazil, Trump warned that any country aligning with the anti-American policies of BRICS would face additional 10% tariffs. Yet this threat had the opposite effect. In fact, Trump was stunned as Brazil doubled down on its relationship with BRICS. The Brazilian President Lula even said no gringo could give him orders. Even small developing nations, once at the mercy of American power, are now boldly standing up to Trump's intimidation tactics, refusing to bow down to his threats. Trump has shown the world that he cannot be trusted as an ally and trading partner. His tariffs stunned and betrayed longtime friends such as South Korea and Canada, who had pre-existing free trade agreements with the USA. The trust that once underpinned US global leadership is crumbling. Once trust is lost, it is impossible to regain. The threat of sanctions and tariffs from the US is the exact reason why BRICS exists and is what makes them attractive. Countries around the world are looking to BRICS for stability, mutual respect, and long-term cooperation. Brazil's government stated that Trump's attacks are reinforcing our relations with the BRICS because we want to have diversified relations and not depend on any one country. Countries no longer want to bow to the USA. Even Canada and Mexico don't want nothing to do with Trump. The US can't control its own backyard, let alone the rest of the world. Many nations are increasingly pursuing a more independent foreign policy, trying to build balanced trading relations between the USA and BRICS nations. By diversifying their trading partners, these nations are more protected against Trump's threats. BRICS nations seek to promote mutually beneficial trade between themselves in clear opposition to the American model of trade exploitation. This is why more global leaders are now willing to defy Trump. They know that soon his sanctions will be little more than empty threats. Recently, Trump threatened 50% tariffs on Brazil despite the US running a big trade surplus. This has pushed Brazil closer to China. Chinese-Brazilian trade relations have been booming, with Brazil exporting many products such as minerals and soybeans to China, and in return importing goods like electric cars and solar panels. In reality, almost the entirety of South America has been growing closer with China, thanks to the USA's bullying tactics. Trump can do nothing but throw tantrums as Chinese money pours into the region. China has recently announced over $4.5 billion in investments for Brazil, covering areas like agriculture, mining, currency swaps, and even nuclear energy. Currency swaps in particular are rattling Trump's very core. Currency swaps allow countries to trade directly in their own currencies and eliminates the need to convert into a third-party currency, usually the US dollar. Since World War II, the US dollar has been the dominant global currency for international trade and finance. This dominance gives America significant economic and geopolitical power, including the ability to impose economic sanctions by controlling dollar transactions and borrow money at lower costs. The USA has not been afraid to abuse this power before. Sanctions placed by Trump on Venezuela during his first tenure is estimated to have killed 40,000 people by depriving them of food and life-saving medicines. Thus, de-dollarisation enables countries to reduce their vulnerability to US sanctions and enhance their economic independence. China has signed currency swap agreements with over 30 countries to promote its own Chinese yuan. BRICS nations are using swaps to conduct dollar-free trade and explore alternatives to Western banking systems. They have even explored the idea of creating a shared currency or a payment system, though this idea is still a long way away. Trump perceives any challenge to the dollar as an existential threat to the US. He has threatened tariffs and sanctions on any country or company that engage in trade outside the dollar system. Yet by weaponizing the dollar, he only serves to quicken its downfall. Not long ago, Indonesia and Vietnam were welcomed into the BRICS bloc. Indonesia is the world's fourth most populous country, with abundant natural resources, as well as having a strategic location linking the Indian and Pacific Oceans, making it a vital hub for trade and supply chains. Similarly, Vietnam has become a manufacturing powerhouse with a young, educated workforce attracting billions in foreign investment from top firms such as Samsung and Microsoft. Both countries look to complement their economic ties with the USA by engaging with BRICS. For them, BRICS opens access to new markets and investment opportunities. BRICS members like China are key investors in infrastructure all around the world. Also, institutions like the BRICS New Development Bank offer supposedly cheaper financing without too many political strings attached, unlike the US-controlled IMF or World Bank. Joining a group like BRICS can also give developing nations a stronger voice on the world stage, which translates to more global influence. These countries are sending a clear, defiant message to Trump. We are sovereign nations with our own independent policies serving our own national interests. These countries are no longer happy to quietly suffer the economic pain of Trump's failures. Instead, they are forging new alliances, exploring alternatives to the US dollar, and promoting trade amongst themselves. Trump may scream about America first and tariffs, but the world is no longer listening. From Sao Paulo to Bangalore to Shanghai to Jakarta, a new global order is being built, one that no longer revolves around the USA. The irony is, Trump's obsession with trade wars has backfired spectacularly, and is accelerating the very outcome he fears most, the decline of American economic dominance and the slow, steady dethroning of the US dollar. Trump could have led with vision, offering fair deals and genuine diplomacy. Instead, he chose threats and coercion. Now the world is pushing back. Thank you very much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we shall see you again soon.